3 billionaires, 3 totally different money philosophies. None of them just saved 10% and hoped for the best. Welcome to M Cubed, Money Mindset Makeover, where we're flipping the script on money for millennials and Gen Z. Tony Robbins spent years interviewing the guy who turned a 2-bedroom apartment into the largest hedge fund on the planet. That guy, Ray Dalio, built his entire empire on a rule most companies would never survive. Record every meeting, expose every mistake, no hiding, ever. And Elon Musk, the moment he had enough money to never work again, did the one thing a financial advisor would beg you not to do. He put almost all of it back on the table. Here on M Cubed, we take you beyond the numbers. We will help you develop a millionaire mindset, teaching you the financial education you never received in school. Learn how money works, build healthy money habits, and break free from limiting beliefs. What if the boring billionaire secret isn't a stock pick? It's a rule about the money you don't lose. None of these guys got rich by budgeting better. So today we're breaking down what they actually do differently with money, and which parts of it a normal person can actually steal on a normal income starting this week. Let's dive in. So to me, get better with money always turns into the same 5 tips. Cut the subscriptions, skip the latte, build an emergency fund, open a Roth IRA, don't touch it. That's fine advice. I give it here on M Cubed. It is also not what separates a $60K salary from a $60 billion net worth. The ultra-wealthy aren't playing a bigger version of your money game. They're playing a different game, one built on a handful of decisions, repeated for decades, not on discipline or willpower. Once you actually see the decisions instead of the headlines, it's hard to unsee how much personal finance content online is just noise dressed up as advice. And to be clear before we go further, this isn't a just think like a billionaire and you'll become one video. Starting capital, timing, and plain luck are real, and pretending otherwise does nobody any favors. What's actually useful here isn't the size of their bank accounts. It's the specific decisions underneath them. The ones that scale down to a normal paycheck, whether you have $50,000 or $50 to your name. 3 philosophies, 3 completely different paths. Let's get into it. Segment 1, Tony Robbins, Don't Lose. Robbins spent years interviewing the best investors alive for his book, Money. Master the game titans like Warren Buffett, Jack Bogle, even Dalio himself. And the same idea kept showing up in every single interview. It wasn't a stock pick. It was a rule. The first job of your money isn't to make you rich. It's to not disappear. That sounds almost too simple until you see what it does. Robbins found that the people who stayed wealthy weren't swinging for home runs. They were obsessive about avoiding a loss they couldn't recover from. His whole framework comes down to 2 buckets. A security bucket, cash, bonds, stuff that physically cannot blow up on you. And a risk growth bucket, where you're allowed to swing big, but only with money you could genuinely afford to lose without changing your life. The second Robbins lesson matters even more than the buckets. He puts money success at 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. Translation: most people don't actually have a strategy problem. They have a story problem. I'm just bad with money. I'll never make more than this. Investing is for people who already have money. Robbins' entire argument is that the story runs the decisions. So the story has to change before the numbers ever will. Segment 2, Ray Dalio, Treat your money like data. Dalio's whole energy is the opposite of Robbins. Where Robbins starts with psychology, Dalio starts with brutal, uncomfortable honesty. He built Bridgewater into one of the largest hedge funds on earth on a principle he calls radical transparency. Nothing gets hidden, nothing gets smoothed over. Mistakes get logged and studied instead of buried. He literally taped company meetings so nobody could quietly rewrite what happened. Applied to your own money, radical transparency means one thing. You look at the actual number. Not the vague feeling that you're bad with money, the real number. What you make, what you actually spend it on, where it quietly leaks out. Most people avoid their bank app the way they avoid a scale the week after the holidays. Dalio built a $150 billion firm doing the exact opposite, facing the ugly number on purpose, because that's the only place a useful decision can come from. The second piece worth stealing is his 5-step process for fixing literally anything. Set a clear goal, identify the specific problem in your way, diagnose why that problem keeps happening, design a fix, then do it. Almost everyone skips step 3. They jump straight from "I have a money problem" to "here's a random fix" without ever asking why the problem exists in the first place. Skip that step and you'll cancel the same subscription for the 4th time, while the real leak, no tracking, no plan, no honest look at the number, stays wide open. Bridgewater also runs on what's basically a company-wide issue log that every mistake gets written down and studied instead of quietly forgotten. You don't need a company to copy this. One note on your phone titled "Money Mistakes," where you log the impulse buy, the missed payment, the investment you panic sold. It's important not to guilt trip yourself, just to spot the pattern. Dalio's whole point is that pain plus reflection equals improvement. Pain without reflection is just a bad month you repeat on a loop. Segment 3. Elon Musk. Own it, don't just earn it. Musk is the outlier here, and it's worth being straight about that up front. Some of how his net worth actually works, like borrowing against stock instead of selling it to avoid triggering taxes, that only exists at a scale almost nobody watching this will ever touch. That's not a personal finance strategy, that's a tax code most people can't access. So let's separate the mindset from the mechanism, because the mindset is the useful part. The mindset. Musk never chased a bigger salary. When he cashed out of his early companies, he didn't diversify into something safe. Instead, he put almost everything back into Tesla and SpaceX, 2 companies most investors at the time were betting would go to zero. He was betting on ownership, not income. A salary trades your hours for money, 1 for 1, forever, with a ceiling. Equity, where you actually own a piece of something, can grow without you trading a single extra hour for it. And that risk wasn't blind. By most accounts, Musk spent years going deep on the actual engineering of rockets, batteries, manufacturing, etc., before he bet big, teaching himself the fundamentals instead of just trusting his gut. That's calculated risk, not reckless risk, and the difference matters. The habit that gets missed because it doesn't fit the image. Even as his net worth climbed into the hundreds of billions, reports describe him living in a genuinely modest house and keeping personal overhead low. The lesson isn't live like it's a monastery. It's that he didn't inflate his lifestyle every time the number went up, which meant more capital stayed available to reinvest instead of quietly leaking into a bigger life that eats the gains. The translation. How this works on a normal income. Nobody watching this is opening a hedge fund next quarter. Here's what actually transfers down to a real paycheck. From Robbins, split your money into 2 buckets before a single dollar goes anywhere risky. Money you cannot afford to lose, rent, bills, your emergency fund, stays in the security bucket, full stop. Only money you could genuinely afford to lose goes into the risk bucket. That's the entire don't lose rule, scaled down to your actual numbers. From Dalio, pick 1 day a month and look at the real number. Total income, total spent, total invested, with no vibes, no rounding up, no guessing. Then ask why, not just what. Not "I overspent this month," but why. That question is the difference between a fix that actually sticks and one that resets itself in 3 weeks. From Musk. Before your next raise or bonus even hits your account, decide where it's going before it lands. Say you get a $500 raise. Lifestyle inflation says that money quietly becomes a nicer apartment or a few more takeout orders a week. And a year from now, you can't point to a single thing it built. Reinvestment says that same $500 becomes a certification that raises your rate, a small investing account, or a side hustle's starter budget. Something that can compound instead of just disappearing into a slightly bigger version of the same life. That's the entire billionaire secret, shrunk down to fit whatever your next paycheck actually looks like. Quick one for the M-cubed Mavericks. Out of these 3, which mindset do you personally need the most right now? Robbins' psychology work, Dalio's radical honesty, or Musk's reinvest everything approach? Drop it in the comments. Genuinely curious which one this audience needs most. The one thing all 3 actually agree on, Robbins is all psychology, Dalio is all systems, Musk is all risk and reinvestment. On paper, 3 completely different playbooks. But underneath, all 3 are doing the exact same unglamorous thing. They made a decision about money years before they saw the payoff, and they didn't reverse it the first time it got uncomfortable. Robbins' investors didn't panic sell during the crashes. Dalio didn't stop being transparent the first time it cost him something. Musk didn't pull his money out of Tesla during the years it looked like it might actually fail. The strategy is different every time. The patience never is. The wealthiest people on earth didn't get there by being smarter about a budgeting app. They got there by making a small handful of decisions differently and repeating them for 20 years while everyone else went looking for a shortcut. You don't need Dalio's hedge fund, Robbins' Rolodex, or Musk's risk tolerance. You need their decisions scaled to your life, starting with the very next dollar that hits your account. If this changed how you're going to treat your next paycheck, hit subscribe and join the M-Cubed Mavericks. It's time to unsubscribe from broke and start acting like the CEO of your own life. Smart money, real talk, no cap.